Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Marjorie, and in today's video I am very happy to be participating in this monthly challenge hosted by Melissa from Melissa Makes It DIY, and her co-host today is Shawnie from Glitzy Stitches Home DIY, and it is the Keep It Simple Sunday monthly challenge. So for my first DIY, I am taking this Easter blessing signs from the Dollar Tree, and I already took the little metal bunny off of it, and then I just have this paper grocery bag that I'm actually going to use to cover what is the front side of the sign. Excuse me, and then that way I can go ahead and just use what is the back side of the sign. And I'm just going to take a little bit of hot glue and glue it down a little bit at a time. I didn't make sure that it was cut perfectly yet. I just kind of put what's on there, and then after I glued it down and everything was secure, then I just go back and I cut it down to size and make it look all nice. So I have this bear paint that I had got. It's like an off-white paint, and I used this, and I actually gave it, I want to say, about 3 coats because I didn't really want to have any of the brown showing. But then I take a couple of these wood chicks from the Dollar Tree, and then I found this little cardstock pack from Hobby Lobby. It was on clearance, originally $4.99, and I think I got it for like $1.25. So it was like 75% off. So one side is actually smooth and the other side is a little textured. So I actually just cut out 2 of these, and then I take 2 of the chicks, and I have them facing different directions when I put them on here. And I just use some of this stick glue instead of Mod Podge, and it worked really well. It actually, no lines or anything. But then I take this furniture marker from the Dollar Tree, and I go back in and I just color in the feet of the little chick, and I do that to 2 of the little wood chicks. Once I have this all painted, I go ahead and I attach the jute cord hanger that was originally on here, and I put that back on the sign. And then all I do is I take, this is a black glass marker that I had got from the Dollar Tree, and I just write out the words "hanging with my peeps." And once I do this lettering, I go back in and I just do the little dots on the the ends of the letters, just to give it a little more look to it. And I end up liking how it came out. Now I just freehanded it. I don't have a Cricut or anything like that, but so I just freehand, or you could trace, use stickers, whatever you want to do. And so after I do that, and then I just glue on these little chicks, and I thought it was so cute. This was actually inspired by some other signs that I had seen that said "hanging with my peeps," and so I thought it was a really cute thing to do with the Dollar Tree wood sign. Wood cutouts. So I was looking at it, and it still looked a little plain. So had I thought about this ahead of time, I could have actually hot glued the chicks up more, because when I went to go put this border on, it only really took half of the width of the ribbon, so I had to trim off the other portion of it. But I still liked it. I got this ribbon from Walmart on the after Christmas clearance. It was 75% off. So then I just used my little rotary cutter from the Dollar Tree and just trim off the edge. It made it a whole lot easier than when I was trying to do it with my scissors. So since there was a pretty good amount of empty space at the top, it was real easy to attach this ribbon up here. And so I just used enough to just tack it on the back of the sign. And then I do go ahead and make a really easy, simple bow to put at the top. Now this little chick came off because, you know, the Dollar Tree signs, they are kind of warped a little bit, so it was bowing a little bit, so I had to go back in and add a bunch of extra hot glue and held it down a little bit longer than what I had done. So it ended up working out just fine. So here I'm just making a simple bow, making a loop. I made one loop, and then I made a second loop for the tails. And then I go ahead and I pinch down the smaller top loop, and then I just wrap some jute cord around it several times and then tie it into a knot in the back. And then for the large loop, I just pull it in half and then I cut it so that the tails are even. I'm just fluffing out my little loops there. And I apologize that this portion is off screen, but then I go ahead and just hot glue down the ribbon, and then I cut the tail ends at an angle. I don't do the dovetail on the small ones, but I do the just a little slants. So for the second DIY, I've got these wood cutouts in the Easter eggs, and I've got several different buffalo check, gingham check scrapbooking page that I have got from Hobby Lobby. And I go ahead and cut them out, and then I use the same glue, put a pretty good amount on there, and then I attach the different ones to the eggs. On any of the ones that kind of stuck out a little bit, I just took that sanding brush, the sanding block to just kind of get those down even so I don't have the excess paper hanging off. I do use a total of 7, and then I've got these Dollar Tree letters, and I go ahead and initially I went ahead and put all the letters in the middle like this, and then when I started arranging my eggs, I realized I shouldn't have done it that way, and so I went ahead and took them all off. But I'm actually going to make like a stake sign for your yard or whatever, and so I'm just putting these eggs at different angles and hot gluing them on top of each other. And then once I've done that, then I go ahead and I add the letters back on, but I add them where they're actually going straight up and down. This was a pretty easy project, and it didn't cost much of anything. I do have some garden stakes that I had got from the 99-cent store. It came into like a 5-pack, and they're probably about 3 feet long or something. They're a pretty good size, and so then I just actually glue these eggs right onto the garden stake, and it just turns out really cute. So also in that first DIY, that little metal bunny that I took off, I do actually use on this too. So I used this one because this one was a little warped, and I knew I probably wouldn't use it for any other DIYs. So I just put a bunch of hot glue on there and added it to the back of the eggs. But that's why it kind of looks a little curved when I put it on there, is because it is warped. So but it works just great for this. You can't tell because the eggs are hiding it. And then what I do is at the very bottom of it, I just take this little cute metal bunny and I attach it on there with a bunch of hot glue as well. And it's sticking just fine. So this is something if you want to put outside, then you can actually Mod Podge and make sure it's all nice and covered, but I'm actually going to use it on the inside. So for my third and final DIY, I have this sign that I got for 90% off from Hobby Lobby, and I ended up getting it for like $1.30. So when you're at Hobby Lobby, I will say definitely when they have the 75% off and 90% off home sales, to go and look at these pictured frames, because you could do so much with them, and the frames are like pretty good quality. And you'll see on here, I don't do anything with the white portion of the frame. So I have 4 different variations of the Dollar Tree vinyl, and I have 2 that are glitter, which is this rose gold pink one, and then I have a silver one, and then I have a mint green and a teal colored, which are not. And basically what I'm going to do is just create little panels with the different vinyl, and I just cut them down. So I actually did somehow cut this one just a smidgen too short. Don't ask me how I did it, but I just cut a real small piece off of another portion and just went ahead and added it to the side. Now, I thought using the rotary cutter would make it pretty easy to cut it, but it didn't. It didn't get into the groove in the crevice of the frame like I thought it would, so I just went ahead and just ended up using my scissors. So I only had to use 1 sheet of this. Now if I was using the white, then I probably would have had the white vinyl. I probably would have had to double up on it just to cover up the painting, or unless you could just paint under it. You could paint it white under it and then just use 1. But with the colored ones, it turned out really good. So when I went to measure these vinyls out, somehow I measured out this blue a little too much, but I go back and fix it and trim it down just a little. And as you see, once I added them on there, I use my little X-Acto knife and just trim off any little excess parts on the edges of the frame. And I used my little Mod Podge squeegee type thing to make sure everything was on there and was on there pretty tight and didn't have any bubbles. And I just absolutely love these colors. And I think this turns out really pretty. So what I do is I take one of these bunnies from the Dollar Tree, and I use that Dollar Tree chalk paint, and I just give it 1 good coat of the chalk paint. Now, if you didn't want to paint or you didn't have any paint, they do have some chalkboard stickers at the Dollar Tree, and it comes like in a long, thin sheet. You could always use that if you wanted to, if you didn't want to paint or didn't have the paint. So again, I go back and use these letters from the Dollar Tree. And here I am just adding a little bit of stitching on it just to give it a little more character. And I don't know what it was, but these stickers on the pink portion with the glitter, they did not stick well at all. And I went ahead and even tried to cover with some Mod Podge to top it off with it to keep it there. And it still didn't do good, so I actually had to use hot glue on several of the stickers, along with doing the Mod Podge on top of it. But the bunny word on the blue vinyl turned out fine. all I did was just put some Mod Podge on the top of it just in case it decided to start coming up, and it works great. So then I go back and I take this little cute bunny and I add the stitching to the bunny as well. And I didn't have a little pom-pom small enough for the little tail, so I just colored it in with this white marker. Now, if you wanted to, you could put a little pom-pom on there, but I liked it just fine as well with the marker. I actually colored over it twice with the marker. So then I go in with some of these cute little carrots and the cute little eggs that come 14 in a pack. And these, again, all of these markers you see in front of you are all from the Dollar Tree. The green one that I'm using, that's another one of the glass markers, just like the black one that you've seen in the other DIY. And then this is an orange chalk marker. So I really like how these turned out. So I just color in a couple of the eggs and the carrots. Excuse me. And so once I had actually colored on the eggs, then I do go back in with a different color and give it a little design. Like on this one, I believe I give it a little chevron design in a different color. Excuse me. And then next I'll paint the egg with this pretty pink metallic color from the Dollar Tree. And I do actually use the white marker to draw little polka dots, and it didn't come out very well. It started just blending in with the this metallic color. So I went ahead and went over it with the red, and it was okay. It still didn't show up as good, so I would probably try a different color. And then I take another egg and I actually use this really pretty mint color chalk marker, and I go ahead and I'll take another color and just draw some squiggly lines on it. Now you can obviously make whatever decorations and colors you want. So I actually had this other color, and it doesn't really look brown, but it's actually a brown metallic marker. So I went ahead and I used it and just colored in some of those little etchings to make it look like a real carrot would. And then I just use hot glue and glue everything down. And so what I'm making here is basically a Easter Bunny countdown. So I've added all the stickers in, and I'm adding these little wood pieces in, but I do go back in and hand letter in some verbiage in the silver portion as well. So originally I had hand lettered with a Sharpie, and I put hops here in. That way the whole sign reads Easter Bunny hops here in blank days. And then I went back because it wasn't as bright as I wanted it to be, so I just took a small paintbrush and went over my lettering to make it stand out a little bit more. And y'all forgive my hair. I'm looking at it now, but I just see it sticking out everywhere. If I don't use hairspray or gel in my hair, my little hairs get so messy and all over the place. And I, of course, on the weekends, if I'm not going anywhere, I'm not putting any hair gel or hairspray in my hair. So sorry about that. But I think this sign turns out so cute. And one of the good things about doing this sign on here is that this sign already has its own hanger. So here's the final reveal on all of these. I hope you like them, and thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.